many realtors wouldn't tell you why they wouldn't buy a home. As a matter of fact, usually when you meet with a realtor, they tell you all of the reasons on why you should buy a home. But I'm going to do something a little bit different, and I'm going to tell you exactly why I would not buy a home in 2024. And I'm a realtor. I am in the business of helping people buy and sell homes, but yet I don't think it's the best idea for everyone. And I'm going to tell you exactly why. Now, if you're new to the channel, welcome. I'm Chris Nelson, the team lead of the Nelson Home Group, helping buyers and sellers achieve their real estate goals here in the greater Philadelphia area. And sometimes reaching a goal means just making the right decision when it comes to real estate. And that's, again, what I'm here to do. So today I want to share with you 4 reasons why I think it doesn't make sense to buy a home in 2024. Now, before I get into it, I also want to let you know that at the end of the video, I'm going to share with you my opinion on if you are entering the real estate market, where you might get the best deal. And by the end of this video, you'll understand why I'm making this suggestion. And I also want to point out that there is a huge difference between people who want to sell and people who have to sell. So if you're someone who has to sell, I apologize. These 4 reasons still apply, but I know that you have to buy. So it's a little bit different. This video hopefully will provide value to the people who are considering buying simply off of desire. So reason number 1 that I would not buy a home in today's market is low inventory. You probably thought I was going to say interest, and to be honest, any of the reasons has nothing to do with the 4 reasons that I'm going to share with you. But low inventory is the biggest reason. When you have a market like we have here in the greater Philadelphia area, where we have less than 2 months of inventory, it makes it very challenging for buyers. If anything, it's actually considered a seller's market. A normal market or a balanced market would be somewhere around 4 or 5 months of real estate inventory. Now, what this means is that if new homes weren't introduced to the market, all of the available homes would be exhausted in whatever that month was. So as I mentioned, right now, we're at about 1.5 months supply. If a new listing didn't hit the market, we would exhaust that inventory within a month and a half, right? So a normal market is closer to 4 or 5 months. Anything beyond that is a buyer's market, meaning there's so much inventory that buyers can really pick and choose. And we're not in that type of market. So right now, if you're a buyer in this area, chances are you're still making a competitive offer, and you very well might be competing with other buyers, which makes it a lot more challenging for you to get the terms that you want. Because of low inventory and drastically low inventory, me personally, I would sit on the sideline. Now, the second reason I wouldn't buy a home in 2024 is simply because of the average price of homes. Now, we are at historic highs when it comes to the average price of homes. In Montgomery County, which is the county that I reside in, it's about $551,000 for the average home. And well, a few years ago, it was significantly less. Last year, I think home values in this area were about $473,000. And prior to the pandemic, it was pretty much high 300,000s, under $400,000. So today, where home prices sit, not only in our market, but markets across the country, the values are just through the roof. And in some markets, not this market, you're starting to see a lot of people slash their prices, or homes sit on the market a lot longer. But here in this area, that isn't necessarily the case. Home values are still staying pretty high. They're not seeing many price reductions. And well, moral of the story, I don't like the prices. So I would not buy a home in 2024. And I don't know if that's going to change next year. It probably will not. I don't think we're going to see a decline in value, but I don't hold a crystal ball. So that's definitely an assumption. And if you're wondering why the values of homes are so expensive, well, back during the pandemic when interest rates were so low, well, it created a frenzy. It was just cool to buy a home. Everyone was out either looking at homes, trying to make offers on homes, and it literally became such a competitive market that people were making some insane offers. And those insane offers just padded the numbers, and the numbers just went through the roof. Now, the reason I said that I'm not upset with interest rates is because today's interest rate, right around 6-7%, this is a normal mortgage interest rate. But because it's much higher than what we saw during the pandemic, when people were getting mortgages at 2-3%, even 4%, we now look at this as a jarring response to the market, and we're thinking that these interest rates are too high. But let me tell you, they are not. These are normal interest rates. And that's exactly why I'm not upset with the current interest rates. Now, the third reason I would decide not to buy a home in 2024 ties into the first reason quite a bit, but that's because you have to compromise too much. And that has to do with the fact that there's very little inventory. Usually when you buy a home, or at least when I'm working with a buyer, I suggest that they come up with a list. And on that list, I want for them to write down the things that they have to have and then the things that they would like to have. So to give you an idea, generally you know how many bedrooms you're going to need. You know that if you have a car that you don't want parked on the street, that you're going to need some form of off-street parking, some sort of special need where you need some type of accessible entrance. If you have some sort of special need where you need accessibility to the home, these are things that would be on your need list. Now, some people may want a finished basement, but they could deal without it. Some people may want a deck or a pool, right? But in this market, what happens is you end up compromising quite a bit on the things that you put on your must-haves. I've seen people actually go and say, hey, Chris, we're looking for a 4-bedroom home because we want to put an office in the 1 bedroom. We're going to work from there. And over time, because they've gotten beaten up so much, they decide to go for a 3-bedroom. And after they make settlement on the home, they realize that they've made a bad decision and that they've compromised too much, because now that they've gotten their offer accepted and they own this home, they realize that it just doesn't meet their needs. So me personally, I would not want to compromise on my needs list. And because of that, it's another reason that I would sit on the sideline in 2024. And to add some context to that, there have been several surveys conducted for buyers who have purchased homes over the last few years, and you'll be surprised at the amount of buyers that have regret. They feel as though they either overpaid, didn't get what they wanted, were misrepresented, whatever the situation may be, but we have a large pool of homeowners who purchased over the last few years that absolutely hate their home, and I would not want to be one of those people. And the very last or fourth reason I would decide to opt out of the current real estate market is because of inflation. Now, you may be thinking that the inflation doesn't impact the purchase of your home too much, but what I want for you to think about is when you own a home, especially a new home, you generally need to furnish that home. You need to buy things or want to buy things that will make your lifestyle in that home the way you envisioned it. Most people want a TV in their living room. Some people want them in their bedroom. Some people want projectors in the basement. Some people want the new furniture and all of those moving mechanics. And right now, in current time, all of those things cost more than they have in the past. And I don't know what report you're reading, and I'm not going to get into economics here, but I think most of us could agree that we're paying more for goods and food and everything else that we need as a necessity in life. We're paying more for those commodities. So I, because of that, would not want to buy a home and have to furnish a home in 2024. So because of inflation, I would decide to sit on the sideline again. So there are the reasons on why I would not buy. But as I promised you in the beginning of the video, I would also share with you where I think would make the most sense, where you could possibly get a decent deal in 2024. And that's new construction. The reason for that is because, well, if you're looking at where are the homes that are available, where is the inventory? Builders are still building. Now, those developments in our area are still selling out relatively quickly, but you can pick and choose what lot you want, what type of home you want, finishes, all of those other things. And a lot of the things that you would add to the home during the build process, like your appliances, some of your fixtures, not only are they new, but you're generally getting somewhat of a deal because the builder is buying these things in bulk and they're able to pass some of those savings off to you. To go further, not only do builders have the inventory, but builders also can offer you incentives. They can offer you upgrades in the home. They can offer you things like discounted mortgage rates, discounted title fees, and well, the list goes on. So if I had to make a purchase in 2024 and I had some time on my side, I probably would look at new construction. And if you don't know, the earlier you get into new construction, the earlier the phase, the cheaper it is. If you put a deposit on a home and you come to terms before they even break ground, that is the cheapest generally that you're going to be able to buy in that development. And as they approach the final phase, well, the prices just go up and up and up. So there you have it. There's why I would not buy a home. And if I had to buy a home, there's my opinion on where I would look, potentially for somewhat of a reasonable deal and to not have to compete with a laundry list of buyers. So now I would love to know your thoughts. Let me know in the comments what the market is like. And if you recently bought a home, let me know what that experience was like. Do you wish you held off, or do you feel as though you made the right decision and bought that home at that given time? So as always, there are some things. If you're a buyer, there is a buyer's guide down in the description for you to download. If you're a seller curious about about what the value of your home is, well, guess what? There is a link for that as well. And if you're interested in speaking with me, which I hope you are, why would you not be? There's a link for you to carve out a 15-minute free consultation with me as well to ask me anything about your real estate goals. So once again, I'm Chris Nelson, the team lead of the Nelson Home Group, helping buyers and sellers achieve their real estate goals here in the greater Philadelphia area. And thank you. Thank you for sticking with me for yet another video. And I hope to see you on the next one.